Hi, I'm Kate, and I fell in love with my kidnapper. You might think that sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true. Let me tell you how it happened. I'm the daughter of a really wealthy businessman. Dad and Mum are divorced. Actually, I don't remember a time where they got along at all. I lived half the time with Mum, and then I spent the rest with Dad. Growing up that way wasn't easy. My parents bickered and argued all the time. Whenever they spoke about each other, they would get into nasty details that I really didn't want to know about at all. I begged them to stop bringing me into their constant arguments, but they didn't seem to listen to me. I tried everything, but nothing worked. So one day, during my senior year at school, I decided to do something drastic to call their attention. I ran away from home. I left a note and everything, letting them know I wouldn't be coming back at any time soon. I wish that would bring them closer together, or at least realize that they were messing up my life. As a foolish girl, I ended up hitchhiking in order to get away from home. The first two rides were safe. Nothing bad happened to me. Now, the third car, that was when my ordeal began. The guys in the car really seemed nice at first. They were young, in their 20s, and super friendly. They asked what I was doing hitchhiking, and I let them know I had ran away from home. I told them my name, and they recognized me immediately. My last name is really well known, so they knew at once whose daughter I was. They had been super nice before, but right then, something seemed to change. They stopped to put gas in the car, and they started to talk amongst each other excitedly when they got out. I stared at them from inside the car, really confused. I didn't understand what was going on. When they got back inside, one of the guys informed me that they would hold me ransom for money. My dad was really wealthy and would pay a lot to get me back. They told me they wouldn't harm me if I behaved. I freaked out, of course, and started sobbing. I was so scared. That was when the guy who was driving, Jack, assured me I'd be safe. He promised he'd take care of me. No one there wanted to hurt me, and they really needed money. So it would just be a few days of me staying with them until my dad agreed to pay. I wasn't too convinced at first, but he was always so nice to me. The other two guys would scream and threaten me, but he would always defuse the situation. I began seeing him as my protector and, as oddly as it might sound, my friend. I ended up staying with him far more than 2 or 3 days. My dad was freaking out, and he actually called the cops, which messed everything up. My kidnappers didn't really have much experience, so they freaked out. They didn't know how to handle the situation. Jack was the voice of reason, and he managed to keep them from harming me. I was so thankful to him. One of the guys wanted to cut one of my fingers off to send to my dad, but Jack stopped him. Little by little, I fell in love with him. Dad ended up paying every cent they demanded, and the day came for me to be released. I cried in Jack's arms. I didn't want to leave him. I told him I was madly in love with him, and I wanted to be with him. He refused, telling me it was simply too dangerous. I hugged him tightly and said I was going to miss him so much. When I was freed, the cops were there, waiting. It was a whole operation, so no one saw them coming. They were hiding and waiting for the kidnappers to release me. Before I knew it, Jack and his friends were being dragged into police cars. I cried for them not to hurt him. My parents had to drag me away. Mum and Dad didn't understand why I didn't want to go back home with them. When the trial started, I shocked everyone when I said I wanted to testify for their defense. I explained to the judge how well Jack had treated me, and that I didn't want him to go to jail. I defended him with all my heart and confessed my love for him in open court. People were shocked, but I didn't care. Jack was convicted to 10 years behind bars, and I sobbed miserably. I promised to visit him in jail. I kept my promise. I go see him every single week, and he promised we get married when he gets out. I can't wait! Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and check out the channel's other videos.